welcome back, welcome back. You are still tuned in to Funtastic Fridays here on New South 93 FM, and we're here with you every Friday, and all the Friday them win a new Friday. Don't ask me no question because I still don't have the answer to that. From 5 p.m. till 8 p.m. And we're still in the segment called Talk the Ting with Kim, where we're discussing the effects of an absent mother. So if it is that you're just tuning in, you would have missed at least half of the discussion where we talked about the importance of having a mother around and the different impact, the behavioral indicators such as attachment and trust issues, self-esteem challenges, abandonment fears, all of that. It's a whole lot. And guys, if it is that you missed it and just tuning in, just know that every single Talk the Ting with Kim episode is recorded and it will be shared on our YouTube channel. So just go on to YouTube, type in Funtastic Fridays, and I'll tell you a whole wealth of information is there. And don't worry, Sean, we soon add your topic to that discussion, to the whole list of information that we have there. So we're going to continue with the topic. Some of the other effects of an absent mother are as follows. Academic and cognitive effects. Research has shown that a mother's involvement in her child's education has a significant impact on positive academic outcomes. A mother's support, guidance, and motivation can greatly influence a child's desire and attitude towards learning. Conversely, when a mother is absent, a child may lack the necessary emotional and intellectual support, which can impact both the cognitive and non-cognitive skills of the child, leading to lower academic achievement and behavioral issues. So sometimes, especially these kids that are in school right now who we'd say are quote-unquote acting out, it can be that they don't have certain presence at home. We already know that probably the guidance at home is not the greatest, but it even probably goes as far as the mother not being there, right? That can be one of the reasons I don't think we really look into. I think most people tend to jump to, oh, probably there's no father in the home. That's always everybody's feedback. There's no father there, and that means you can't truly discipline the child and all of those stuff. That's what everybody jumps to. But we get to understand that even those behavioral issues and lower academic achievement can be a result of a mother not being in the child's life. As I say once again, mothers can also be there physically but just not really there, caught up with everything else. So them outsource the tutor, them outsource money for help with assignment, them outsource money for play with you. Every friend date or child date that them want to send you on, them send you because them just need space, them just need time to do what they need to do, and that's not necessarily a healthy way of parenting. Yeah,
so especially children, they react to different changes. So if it's a co-parent situation where this is new to them, as I said, sometimes working with a child, sometimes they prefer when mommy help them with sometimes they prefer when daddy help. So if the one that they probably even prefer not there, that acting out issue, you know what I'm saying?
And chances are, not going to say this is always the case, but because of mommy's nurturing skills, she's probably a bit more patient with helping you to get around to the solution. You understand? Sometimes daddy just very to the point. A lot of men are very direct and logical, and they're not soften you up, right? I've seen where even my brethren them who have kids pick me up ball. I'm not gonna say they will hush him every time, but my boy, where you want for stop? Like you literally tell your child, shut up.
Yeah.
But you're not trying to find out why they're crying. And I see a lot of fathers doing that. That's a frequent thing.
What did I not see, Carter Shakespeare?
But I support what Kazi said. Anyways, so another effect is social challenges. Mothers play a crucial role in shaping the social development of their children. Through their interactions, children learn important skills such as empathy, effective communication, and appropriate social behavior. The absence of a primary caregiver, particularly the mother, could potentially hinder the development of these skills. They may struggle with boundaries, intimacy, and communication, affecting their ability to form and maintain healthy connections with others. This can lead to difficulties in romantic relationships, friendships, and even professional interactions. Right? So that's also another thing that we have to consider. I never knew these things before, that children basically mainly depend on the mother for like their social skills, right? So as we said, the empathy, I can't imagine that one being true first and foremost, because women are the more empathetic of the two genders. Not saying we don't have exceptions, because no people are running in and say, yeah, guys will always leave room for the exceptions, but it is known that women are the more empathetic of the two. So yeah, it affects so for the kids that probably don't talk out as much, or they're very quiet, or they're very minimal with how they express themselves, it can be because they're not really feeling that maternal presence at home. And as I said, fathers, as much as we're grateful when at least you have one parent in the home, if it's only fathers, they can only do so much and no more, because them learn a certain version of life, which is the masculine way, the way to be a man. So you can teach them how to be a man. Most fathers don't know how to raise a daughter. They're not going to do it, because them rule. But when it comes to certain thing, when it comes to whole time of the month and whatever, yeah man, them outsource the information there. Either do them research or then call some female friend to come in, because it's not something they can relate to. Right? So we can't even blame them for that. So we just see more and more that mothers are integral in the development of children. And Dre say, yeah man, that's true, Kimmie. And a final one, gender identity and role modeling. Mothers play a vital role in shaping their children's perceptions of gender roles and identity. Their absence can have a profound impact on a child's understanding of gender relations and stereotypes. Without a mother figure, a child may struggle to comprehend the diverse range of tasks and responsibilities that individuals of all genders can undertake. This lack of exposure can hinder their ability to navigate and thrive in a world that continues to grapple with gender inequality and stereotyping. So that's also something that is learned from mothers as well. You get to learn the diverse roles. You see both sides of the coin. So that's why the healthier homes tend to be both parents in the home. Yeah. But not only that, because you can have both parents and still it's unhealthy. We're talking about healed parents, or even if not healed, they're trying to do better.
Yeah.
That is a big step. Someone that knowing that, listen, we never have the best, and we're not gonna just grow up and say, well, some grow so I can grow you so too. We never did, so yeah, I just saw it go. Or someone else who was saying, boy, I never had this. I realized that it put me at a disadvantage because we never get that. So guess what? I guess it has stopped.
One of the most amazing things that parents can actually do is actually just learn, and then you try to improve yourself. Because trust me, nobody's perfect, but to say, boy, I write and say that I move, that is very rough.
Exactly.
As Kim said, I saw me grow, so I saw me I go my child.
I'm never dead. They never tell me never dead from it,
you probably went to, let's say you finish at high school, you want your child to probably at least finish university.
Yeah, at least one step ahead.
Better for your child, so you have to try and do better for yourself. You find ways to learn better parenting. You find ways that probably you think that your parents weren't there for you, and you try to be there for your child in that way. So that gap is filled, or that that what they call it, that void. Is probably occupied with some love and affection. So you want better for your child.
And when we just realize, listening to all of that, the parenting is a subject,
It is a course. It should be taught.
That's why they actually want you to have all parenting handbook and all of that stuff for you probably call it that family planning.
Yeah.
Not necessary. There is no one handbook. That's just it.
But that's why the generations before and the community, that's what I'm saying, it takes a village to raise a child, but today's society have veered away from that. No, nobody can talk to nobody because I know your picnic. I make you even reprimand my picnic. I'm not a reprimand, I'm not talking about beat or nothing. If you see them picnic a road, I say, no, you can't dress so. Fix up your clothes, man. Listen. I agree in the village thing. Trust me, no parent can do it alone. Not even the two of them.
You see the thing though, as I said, just like how you see parenting has evolved over time, the village has
changed. That's what the village on one side.
So we have to understand what we mean by village. We see what we mean by village. Back in those days, one of the biggest things adults did was to respect each other and to respect a child.
Yeah.
So once a child came in the presence of an adult, back then an adult would say, okay, a child is in our presence.
We can't have certain conversation.
Let's use certain words. But nowadays, the problem with the
and the parents are cusbadon
exactly.
in a regular conversation.
The adults expect to behave anyone they want to feel, and then when they're ready now, they want to tell the child what not to do, and that's why the whole village mentality broke up.
That's
because
true.
you're not going to road and you're a picnic and pack my mash of the place and I walk come beat my picnic for doing the same thing. That's where the problem comes. Why not come with my child?
Alright.
Because there was no respect and decency.
Before you even said that, even so, bear in mind, as a parent and in the working world, you can't see everything.
Exactly.
They also had other people who were seeing certain things. So when them could have said, boy, you know, said this, even when they say Kim, we'll talk with two boys on the roadside, they were like your additional eyes. They were like your additional guide. Because you can't see everything.
Alright, I love how you guys are speaking in past tense.
Yeah,
No, that's what I'm saying. The village has
I
transformed.
like that. So that's the thing.
Right, so that is the reason why.
Oh, that's what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. You
They
have
change
a
their
reason.
perspective.
I understand why a person's running nowadays because the village has changed.
So that's what I was saying in the
Yeah, I get
I
that.
just allowed you guys to reason out your thing.
No, but I'm not
That's what
saying
I was.
you MV.
Hold on. So that's what I was saying when I said I don't agree with the village
Yeah,
thing.
Okay.
You explain the village. That's
Yeah.
So that's it. It's not the same village.
Yeah, that's
we all have different values now.
Yeah.
It's a different Jamaica.
That's
So
right,
if we take on to a more
free
non-religious
All
thing,
kind of
and then you have a
versions.
set of people who are straight Christian, and then you have the middle and whatever.
Yeah.
We have different values. So the village thing work. But if you study history and the history of humans, you understand that the village are what we rely upon for centuries upon centuries. But we can't do that now.
Yeah, the village has changed. If you can get some sort of level back to the village.
Yeah.
Take parenting seriously.
Yeah.
Learn to raise your picnic yourself. Learn to raise your
That mindset too, as Kimmie explained to you.
Can be toxic too.
No, it's not all about toxicity, you know. But to really and truly learn to raise your picnic yourself, that will not be
It's not
the case.
possible.
Because you're sending your child to school, so the teacher at the school have to go help raise a picnic.
The other kids as well, what they learn.
And also the bus driver upon it. As I said, it's
You can't
do it by yourself. Yeah.
It is important to understand that you can't tell or you can't make anybody do anything. That's true. That's the first thing. So with that said, what I mean by learn.
No, I guess what you're saying.
Hold on, man. What I mean by learn to raise a pig yourself, you need to understand your values that you want your child to understand that these are my values. You can choose to follow them or not. But the point that I'm trying to make is that you as a parent need to understand what are your values as a parent. You can make a child do something, you know, but you can impart your values knowledge onto them to choose to follow it or not.
Well, so far on the live, I see where Dre said kids are too exposed to things. And at the same time, there are lots of immature people having kids.
That's what's happening.
And as Dre said, we need our villages back. Well, one of the things that I wanted to mention as something that we need to consider.
Kathy was just mentioning earlier what he mentioned about parenting being a subject.
Yeah.
She says parenting is a lifetime study.
It is. It is. But one of the things as well that I think we need to start employing as well when it comes to parenting is actually talking to the children as well. You see them all time belief there where children are seen and not heard. And listen, I've heard some kids express themselves. I remember we had the interview with Natalie's kids today for Mother's Day, and I will be asked her like some of the stuff that she didn't like that her parents did or whatever. Listen, guys, she could have expressed herself well. There was no wondering what she meant. She knew what she meant, and she was telling you, "Oh, I don't like when Daddy did this, but I like when Daddy did this." And it wasn't. I say it wasn't. Not, I am some pet the most. No, it was very intellectual. And I admired it. I was like, hold on. And she was probably like 7, 8, something like that. So that reminded me that whole thing of children are seen and not heard. Sometimes when and you reminded me, every generation they get smarter.
Education evolves, technology evolves, the mind also evolves.
Exactly.
Things that easily pick up. No, but then probably would pick picked up as well.
Yeah, man.
But imagine the kids with their fresher mind now.
Listen, I remember my nephew when he never even turned 1 yet. I'm see him take up tablet and I enter passcode. I'm be confused. And he was like a couple of months in. So I say all that to say, guys, don't basically make your kids like they're not valid. Make them feel like they're not valid, like their opinions aren't valid. So they might tell you they want something. Not going to say I'm going to always get it. Let's say, for example, you say, what you want for dinner? Boy, you're going to force them. Boy, you're going to eat anything you want, you know. What if them don't eat that? And I get that. Or habits when it comes to parenting has changed. Because once upon a time, you know, anything mommy cook, you know, you eat, you know. Right? Whether you like it or not, that is what is being prepared. But then I've seen where parenting has evolved somewhat, where parents are now having conversation. Social media show you say you can have conversation. Because them say some things. And we're not talking about the darndest things. Like that was on TV. We're talking about some real deep reasoning. And then we'll say how something affect them. Ask them questions. Have conversations. So that's another thing I think parents can tap into. But that's a little segue. So another thing is to identify, we're going to identify some toxic behaviors resulting from a mother's absence. Alright. 1. Excessive need for validation. A key issue for those with an absent mother is a deep-rooted need for external approval and affirmation.
Jamaica, this.
Yeah, man, that's something that a lot of us grapple with. So that ties back into the whole low self-esteem thing. So persons without that maternal presence, they tend to have an excessive need. They want everybody to approve what they might do. If you can't get the approval of everybody, then better not do nothing. They prefer not to do anything, you know?
I'm telling you something.
Yeah.
It's something I'm try for. Because naturally, just based on my upbringing, that's a natural trait of mine. And then, I'm going to make the mistake. I'm going to pick up a profession that involves trying to please people.
Yeah. So it just never.
So it just no matter how much I try for not do it, automatically in my brain. Because sometimes it does happen to me.
Yeah.
Where I'm not playing music, I'm not trying to please an audience. But in regular life, I'm going to find myself in the same mindset.
Trying to seek validation.
Yes. So.
Well, Jason can relate and say, yeah, that was me one time. And him say, I was raised like that, the whole scene, the children are not hearing them. You know, a child is seen and not heard. Another toxic behavior resulting from an absent mother is, as we said earlier, fear of abandonment in relationships. This fear often results in clinginess and remaining in unhealthy relationships. So as we say, they probably know them need to leave, you know, but because they don't want to be alone again or deserted again, so they stay in relationships that are not healthy. And I think that is something that a lot of the Jamaican society is in right now. So probably need to evaluate yourself and see if there's some, some effects from probably or the lack of maternal presence, or even just our mothers not knowing any better. And as such, if you don't know better, you can't do much better. You understand?
Because that fear grows in.
Yeah.
You see that fear that you feel when you're abandoned as a child.
Yeah.
That fear becomes like a bigger fear. And every time you feel the fear come on, you just get immobilized because that fear is so big now.
Yeah.
And it's not just with that, whole heap of things you go through as a child that you felt as a child. Yeah. It grew,
Yeah.
And as you grow, the feeling, the anxiety grow again.
If it's not healed,
if it's not settled
and dealt with.
And here's the thing now, because these are things that, as you say, once we encounter other relationships, probably as Kim says, some people bring it across in the whole attachments. When they don't get the validation in that now, it's a further opening of the gap. It's like you're further away from being, accepted. Or so,
So you like the same thing.
Happening.
Well, another toxic behavior that results from this is self-sabotaging behavior, common in women affected by a mother's absence. These behaviors hinder personal and professional growth. And then finally, emotional instability and overreactivity. Emotional challenges such as mood swings or disproportionate reactions are often linked to unresolved issues from a mother's absence. So you may have something that's so simple and the mother overreact. Even actually mothers who, let's say a cup broke. Yes, I get that it's a cup for you to bite, right? But sometimes you have some mothers who them beat you, them left you outside, you can't come to the house just because you broke a cup.
Yeah.
That overreactivity is coming from somewhere.
We had an example earlier today in the news story. So the man there talk about the man son of Yahweh, have him run punch.
Exactly.
Mash up the man, kill the little boy.
So it's excessive, right? So even the overreactivity, and we say the mood swings, right? At this second, them good 2 seconds after, it's a totally different person when it comes to their mood. It's something that we have to look into.
A parenting knows it passed down, so that's how their parent handle situations with them. So
exactly.
Them not know no better.
And then for a second to last segment, we're gonna explore the influence of a mother's absence on your relationship patterns, right? So individuals with an absent mother background might attract or create specific relationship dynamics. Number one, they seek caregivers. So they may gravitate towards relationships where partners play a caregiver role. It's like your girlfriend, I know your mother, or your boyfriend, is like you expect him to be a provider for you in some way, or some sort of nurturer for you, right? So they seek the caregivers, unconsciously trying to fill the maternal void. While this can provide temporary comfort, it often leads to imbalanced relationships where emotional dependency is high. Another one is avoidant partnerships. Fear of abandonment might lead them to choose partners who are emotionally unavailable or distant. This subconscious choice serves as a protective mechanism, as it feels safer to be with someone who isn't fully emotionally invested. That's something that we have to look into. As Dre said, yes, Kimmie, the last toxic trait you mentioned, I struggled with that for years until I finally got over it, the seeking caregivers. So that's something that I hope you guys are taking notes, because it's always something worth looking into ourselves to see if we can connect with any of these traits. Another one is repeating the absent mother dynamic. There's a tendency to be drawn to partners who mirror the traits of an absent mother, be it emotional unavailability, neglect, or inconsistency. So you're drawn to partners with them trait here because I you're used to, right? So this repetition of the familiar, albeit painful dynamic is a common way of trying to resolve unresolved childhood issues. So it's like you go through life a loop fit.
So the cycle continues.
Right? Another one is chaotic and high drama relationships. The absence of a stable maternal figure can lead to a craving for intense emotional experiences, often leading to relationships that are marked by high drama and volatility, right? So especially like in those relationships where somebody's being abused or somebody, stick around because, as you said, maybe it's something that happened while you're growing up, or it's just something you grew to expect, or as you say, you don't want the person to leave, so you just put up with anything because you don't want anybody else to abandon you. And finally, we're just highlighting 5 things: codependent relationships. So in an effort to avoid abandonment, individuals might develop codependent tendencies, overly investing in the relationship's needs and neglecting their own. So it's like you prioritize everything about the person and left you for last because you're trying to do everything in your power to keep them, right? This can lead to a loss of self-identity and personal boundaries. So codependent relationships, we see that a lot, where it's like the partners can't exist without each other, right? And that is not healthy. So to wrap it up, embracing healthy relationships. Understanding these patterns is crucial for change. Therapy and emotional coaching can aid in building healthier relationships, fostering self-esteem, and learning healthy attachment styles. The impact of an absent mother is a significant emotional challenge. However, with awareness and the right support, individuals can navigate these complexities, fostering resilience and emotional health. Recognizing and addressing these issues opens the door to more fulfilling and balanced relationships. So, guys, it's something I hope that we will take with us over the next couple of days, maybe just to look into it. If it is that you are a mother, start evaluate some of your habits. Think about the things that your child last complained about, or you realize that, boy, you know, every time you upset, you treat them a different way, you treat them differently. Or if there's something very slight, like they never wash the dishes at the time, yes, they still didn't listen, but at the same time, is the punishment that you meted out to them, was that worth it? You know, those are things that we need to look into. As we say, an absent mother doesn't mean that you're not there physically. You can be there and still not doing any of the things that the child needs, right? Anybody have anything else that they want to add before we wrap up?
Well, I mean, Carter Shakespeare says, great points. Thanks, guys. Definitely thanks to everybody for tuning in. But I would like to add that, you know, just as we find ways to say, you know, make other things work, let's try and find ways to make parenting work. That, you know, it's not, as we say, not a lone father, not a lone mother. Teamwork somehow has to come into play. Co-parenting, let's try and see how best we can make it work. It's rough, it's not easy, but it definitely makes a big impact when both parties are there, I believe so.
Alright, MB, anything to add?
Well, I would say ladies and people who have business, make sure make sure you meditate. At least 10 minutes of silence. You can start with 5 minutes of silence daily, just focusing on your breathing. We're in a state in Jamaica of I think we're facing a mental health epidemic.
We are,
and I think we just need to detach from the world that we live in. Put that way, the fast-paced world that we live in now. We just need to detach for a few moments daily. And you can Google ways how to detach, how to meditate. You have multiple different ways how to meditate. But the number one recommended technique for battling mental health, meditation.
Alright, well, that is it, guys. That is it for Talk the Ting with Kim, and that is it for another Funtastic Fridays. We hope that you learned something from our discussion, and we appreciate all the responses that we got. Guys, as I said, send us topics that you want us to discuss. Shauna made note of that one, toxic parenting. It'll be coming right up very soon before the month done. But guys, please have a safe one. Take care of yourself until we see you again next week.
Alright, bless up to everybody. Congrats to Cardi Shakespeare, winner of the top of the class, and thanks for Lagos Fastest Street Studio. Bless up to everybody who tuned in. Congrats to also Pinky Brewster, who won herself a prize as well. Fantastic Friday, people. Have a safe weekend. See you guys next week.